Hey, I'm Alex, and we're gonna go on a build walkthrough on Khaos. Khaos is a 2006 Jeep Wrangler Sport. Started its life out as a little baby Jeep. I bought it in 2015 as a graduation present. My first actual purchase, big purchase. Sorry. I've been in wheeling and off-roading for quite a little bit. My dad was always around Jeeps, and they've always been in the family. When I turned 14, or around 14, he ended up getting a 99 Wrangler for $1,000, and we built it together. Kind of learned from the first Jeep, and the first Jeep was mainly cosmetics, and I was like, no, we're gonna make it different this time. We're gonna build this one out to be capable, and try and make it as capable as we could. Starting with wheels and tires, I guess. I have the Mickey Thompson Baja Boss X. So those are the sticky version. I've been wanting stickies for a while, and now I finally have them. And those are wrapped around some Dirty Life roadkills in a 17 beadlock.
Passenger, yep.
I've ran the Baja Bosses since they came out and were released from day one when you could buy them from the public. As I was running the Baja Boss for the longest time, always wanted stickies because I've seen how they performed on Mitch's Jeep and a few other rigs that had the stickies. So when I finally got my hands on them, it was definitely night and day difference, I would say. Without even being broken in yet, they were definitely outperforming just the DOT version. So I love them. I use the sidewall as much as I can. I love the sidewall bite on them, and the tread pattern just looks super badass too, so. This is probably our fourth set of different kinds of wheels we ran, and probably the Dirty Lifes have been the most resistant. And the beadlock ring on them is perfect fit. You can use them a lot and not have to change them out, or they're not bent. And the nice part with them is the dual technology with having more bolt holes in them. So if you mess up a bolt hole, you can always switch the ring over. I love them. They look great, especially now they're painted orange. They look even better and more matching. They look awesome.
Yeah, stay on that.
That wasn't that bad.
Moving to the axles, the front is an 06 Dana 60 out of a Super Duty. The rear is an 86 14 bolt out of a K20 Blazer. And at the time, I was kind of helping out with Jeff at Freedom Fab Works, and he was the one that did all the truss work, the welding, and all that stuff, because his welds at the time were a lot prettier than mine. So we use Artec trusses front and rear on it, keep it from bending and twisting and all that good stuff. Yukon internals, front is a Yukon zip locker, rear is just a Grizzly locker, and they've been working out fantastic for me. Stuff stock shafts in it. Isn't that crazy?
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Stock shafts. Haven't broke a single shaft yet, but we'll see now.
joint. Yep.
The only thing is it's got Warren lockouts on it. And I've had a few problems with the Ford lockouts and the Warren lockouts, but so far the Warren lockouts have done pretty decent. So currently for gearing is 5/38. It's kind of the highest you can go, especially with that little 4.0 can push. Steering, we are using Artex high steer setup tied together with PSC's RAM on the front. We're still doing hydro assist, soon to hopefully be full hydro. The drive shafts are Adams, front and rear. They're 1350s front and rear. They've been working fantastic for me so far. Haven't had any issues with drive shafts. For the base of the suspension, it kind of gets to a lot of it because we're using a rock crawler long arm kit, and from there I called rock crawler and had them make custom arms for me. So the rear, they stretched out 6 inches. The front, like I said, is 4 inches. And we actually notched the frame in the back to clear for the high clearance arms. And again, with Khaos, we kind of wanted as much travel as we could. And with a little bit longer wheelbase, we were able to put in there some 16-inch Fox coilovers in the front and 14-inch coilovers in the rear. Tucked them up as high as we could and made sure nothing bound up, which with the assist up front kind of lets the axle move a lot, which not the best, but it works. We're not running any sway bar on the front, just to kind of get as much articulation as we can, and it's really hard to do that, especially with the front setup. The front axle is actually pushed forward 4 inches, and we move the gearbox forward 4 inches, and that kind of takes away from where we could put a sway bar in it. The rear, we still use a Curry anti-rock. So it's still pretty basic once it comes to the drivetrain. We're still using the 4.0 in there. It is the NSG 370 transmission, so that's a 6-speed manual transmission in that. For the transfer case, we just have a souped up NP231 stock transfer case in there. It works, clanks around a lot, chain's very loose, but it still works. So yeah, the only differences for that is the stock motor has motor mounts with 3 bolts in them, and after we do a few sendies, we broke those off the motor itself.
Alright, we're gonna really hit it this time.
So we upgraded to some more off-road bomb-proof motor mounts, and then we have K&N intake on it, custom intake on that to clear the shock tower. For the rest of underneath the hood, we have Mishimoto cooling for everything. We have their aluminum radiator, the air electric fan, shroud, the hoses, everything for that. And then we're also using dual Odyssey batteries, which are now relocated in the back. And we're using dual S-Pods, Bantam X's in the Jeep to control all the lights, lockers, necessities like seat warmers and all that good stuff in there too. And then we try to kind of tidy everything up under the hood, make it look pretty, because those high lines kind of take up a lot of the space of what you could put underneath there. So our exhaust setup on that is Banks torque tube headers straight from the engine. From there, it goes into MagnaFlow, everything else.
I just went to go get a soda. I guess I parked in the no parking zone. Yeah. Guess I won't park here no more.
So we have MagnaFlow cats down to a little shorty MagnaFlow muffler. Cute little 6-inch guy. Makes it sound less like a tractor.
Well, that was fun. Yeah.
Back when the Jeep first got done in 17-18 for SEMA, Crawltech was really big for us because they were a local company. So we were using their front and rear bumpers. They tuck in really well. They've taken quite a beating so far. And the little monkey's cool. When it comes to fenders, we're using Poison Spiders. Poison Spider rockers, which are now baconed out, and then aluminum corner armor for the back of the Jeep. Poison Spider hood louver on the hood, and we are using a Poison Spider tailgate as well.
All right.
Your GoPro is.
All right.
GoPro's down there, bud. You want to hook up that winch on there or something?
So on the front, we also have a Warn Xeon winch, a 10S synthetic rope winch, tied together with a Factor 55 flat link on there with a rope guard. Instead of D-rings, we use the Warn Hyperlinks, which are nice beefy link setup for that. And a big one too is all of our recovery gear. There's a Yukon bag that lives back there. Try not to use it that much, but that has a kinetic rope in it, a bunch of D-ring mounts, a bunch of their soft shackles, the winch controllers, anything that we need for recovery purposes too. I do tend to get into some sticky situations. I try not to have people see that, but I do get into some pretty dumb sections. So the recovery equipment does come out a pretty decent amount, more than I would like to say, but it does come out. And then we also use a lot of it, the recovery stuff, for others, especially when we go to different trail rides, go and do the GSE runs. We do like to use them. Before we went to SEMA for 2022, we were planning on doing the cage and the seats at that time. When we did that, we discovered that the entire tub was garbage. So that is actually a brand new tub on the Jeep itself, and to kind of protect it from the Michigan elements and all the wheeling and stuff that we do in mud and dirty conditions, we coated the entire Jeep in Patriot liner. So the outside of it, the inside of it, the underside of it is all Patriot liner. And it is so much better than just a regular coating from a tub from factory. Definitely 100%, 300% recommend Patriot liner on your tub. For the roll cage itself, it actually became a little bit cheaper to buy the Poison Spider kit itself. The only thing with that is I'm not a fan of the back section of the Poison Spider kit. So what we ended up doing is using their tie-ins for the tub, used up most of the cage components that they have with the slant back style, the center section, all that stuff, and then kind of built off from there. So we made the entire harness bar, we made the V's, The whole back section is all custom made, and probably 30 to 40% of the tube work on there is not what comes in that kit. So I kind of just wanted something fastback, something that you also don't just see straight out of the catalog.
Steer left. Driver, 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 driver. There you go.
We have a new Trek Top NX going on the Jeep. At EJS, we kind of had all 4 seasons combined into one day, and the Trek Top came in perfectly for that day to protect us. It was sealing out so that we could stay warm inside. It kept us away from the snow for half the day. So the nice thing with the Trek Top is you do have a nice slant back look on it, and you can also have just the top deck, which works out perfectly on sunny days like today. The windows are just an easy zipper coming on and off, and then they slide right on out and go into the rails of your Jeep. So super nice, easy to take off. Less than 5 minutes, you can go from a full enclosed top, keeping you warm, all the way to a full Sunrider open. On the back, kind of like behind the driver and passenger seat, we have the power tank mounted. So we have a 15-pound power tank in there. We've had it for about 3-4 years now. Awesome setup, definitely a useful thing to have on the trails, especially taking it out to different rigs. With an air compressor, you can't really take the air compressor out and move it somewhere else. With a power tank, you can do that, which is really nice. And you can also use power tools on it if you bring air tools. So that's also a really nice feature of using the power tank. Currently, the back section is more like a storage area. So what we have to kind of contain everything down is we used a moto-built rack and made custom mounts on it to tie into the cage to kind of hold everything below the cage. And underneath there, we have both Odysseys with their perspective mounts, which is really nice to have a dual battery setup, especially with all the lights, lockers, winches, everything that we have on there. And we also tie that in there with a bunch of stuff from Kicker. We got speakers all throughout it, and then including a 10-inch sub underneath that rack section too. For the entire lighting setup on the Jeep, we are using Baja Designs. Always loved Baja Designs. For Khaos itself, we're using LP6s as the headlights. We have XL80s for the A-pillar lights. We are using the RTL chase bar in the back. We also have a set of S2 flush mounts in the back of the Jeep, kind of as our backup lights. And then we have a absolute abundance of their rock lights all throughout the Jeep. We have them for the actual rock lights underneath the Jeep in ambers. There's 6 total of them. And then we also are using them for inside the cab for our whites, reds, and ambers in there too. So Baja everywhere. I am running PRP Comp Elites in that. They're not a recliner, they're a full bucket seat and fully custom. So we were able to make it in the gray and orange of the Jeep itself, and we were able to put the Khaos logo in the headrest too, which is really cool. We are also using the Old Glory harnesses. They're 5.3 harnesses. They got a really cool setup on them. They hold me in. I don't bounce around. I already do cool things and go sideways, upside down, whatever it might be. Here's the thing with the seats, all right? So the past few years that we've been with the GAC, I've had harnesses in my Jeep. They've held me in. I've used PRP's harnesses before. We were using kind of like a modified stock seat setup. As soon as I put those PRP seats in with the buckets, they hold you in so much better. And it's like a whole thing in your head where it's just like, all right, I'm good in here. Nothing bad can happen to me. So I kind of push the limits a little bit more as soon as you get nice, comfortable seats that are like holding you in better. And I've definitely noticed that part. They're a lot more comfortable. They hold you in a lot better, and you just feel safer in it altogether. And those are tied into the cage too. So I mean, if anything separates, at least I'll be tucked into the cage while the rest of the Jeep is just down a hill or something.
Well, yeah, we're good. Hey, we finally did it.
So also with PRP, we're running their steering wheel with a quick disconnect setup. That wheel's been really fantastic. It's nice suede, you know, that way you're a little bit fancy with the suede on there. Don't mind how dirty it is now, but it's fancy. Got some orange stitching on there too, matches the Jeep. For the dash itself, we are running a kicker head unit in there now, which I have speakers, which is really cool to have now. And then we are using a bunch of Scotch mounts all throughout the Jeep. Their handles, their mirrors, a bunch of phone mounts and camera mounts, all kinds of stuff in there. Also on the cage, which I'm very proud of myself, the entire section right above the driver's seat and passenger seat, I did that all by myself, designed it, created it. They cut it out with Send Cut Send, sent it out to them. They made it for me, and I kind of custom designed all it. So it says Khaos in it. Proud of myself. Same thing with the speaker mounts, which were a pain to make, but it works. Looks good. I like it. So we're moving on with Khaos. I definitely want to build it up a little bit more. The first things to go on there is we're gonna ditch the hydro assist and go to full hydro. Definitely wanting to put a different truss system on the front axle and make it full hydro. Kind of tired of bending tie rods. And then I also would love to change the suspension on the front to a 4-link setup. If you want to see more of Khaos and want to see more of these really cool rigs that also come along on the runs, come out and check out the GAC, the Great American Crawl. Look on, we're on Facebook, Instagram. Check us out on greatamericancrawl.com. That's where you can get more information on runs, the nearest runs, local runs, and any more information, reach out to us, go from there.